a lot of our attendees, they might be location based, and the
Mhm.
business might be location based. And so I think that's a mindset change that a lot of them can benefit from, in that, maybe this post COVID new world looks like you have employees that you never meet face to face, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a real thing that, I think is a tough shift for a lot of maybe experienced small business owners.
I'll speak to one thing on that front. This is something where I don't even doubt it. I just know for a fact that this will be a huge culture shift within like the next 20, 30 years, is the number of people that will work remotely and will likely never meet their team in person, or maybe they only do so once a year or whatever the circumstance is going to be dramatically higher. And I don't say that, retrospectively looking at the pandemic. I actually say that from the standpoint of growing up as a kid, I played a lot of video games.
Sure.
And I played a lot of video games on Xbox where there was Xbox Live, right? So you could talk to people from all over the world. You'll never meet them. You'll probably never play with them or see them again after you play in your specific game, that it's multiplayer. So maybe you beat them, or maybe they're on the same team as you. And then that's it. And then, it's bye, see you later. But every once in a while you would click with somebody and you two would be cracking jokes and playing together and you'd have a fun time. So then you'd add each other as friends. And then over time, this person would actually become a very good friend of yours. So yeah, I quite literally, as I was in middle school, high school, almost had two lives where I would go to school and I had my friends in school, and I would play sports, and so I had my friends on the sports team and stuff. And then when I went home and I played video games, I had another friend group there, and we would play for hours at a time and talk together, so much so that I ended up meeting some of my online friends in person years later, which is hilarious, right? As a freshman in high school, 4 or 5 years later after I graduated, I ended up meeting a couple of them here in New York, actually. And it's just like, it's one of those things where I think people oftentimes doubt how strong of a relationship you can build online, because they think, oh, well, there's not that physical component to it. It's like, truthfully, it probably doesn't matter as much as you think it does. You just have to really approach it in a way that you would approach any other relationship. The best piece of advice that I received from a good friend of mine named Mike McIntosh, he runs a company called Hipster, was that whatever you do with your employees in person, do that with your employees that aren't in person, or your contractors that aren't in person. And so people might immediately look for the hurdle or the excuse of, oh, I can't, I get coffee with my employees. Like, take the same amount of time to get
Right.
coffee and buy your employee a coffee, right? Go on Uber Eats or whatever delivery app they have locally, or maybe you can get them a Starbucks gift card and just say, hey, go get yourself a coffee, and then I want to chat with you. And we'll have a little coffee meeting. And you can quite literally do almost everything the exact same that you otherwise can. You just have to be a bit more creative, and you have to put in the effort to actually get there. But you can build the exact same relationship